Hi everyone, my name is Della Phillips. I'm an artist as well as I'm known as the Bicycle Lady. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Now today I'm going to be doing some drawing. I thought you might enjoy coming along with me. And I'm going to be exploring natural contour line in context to shapes. Because if you remember correctly, when I first started shapes, with my research and everything, I said there's two types. One is geometric and one is natural. And I know when we were just doing the line drawings, contour line usually meant the outer. But when they're talking about contour, or I've heard it said as a form line, you're dealing with going across the surface. And when it's done and you look at it, it reminds me a lot of the graphic waterform figures. If you remember those in graphics where they would make the waterform and then they would then put the colors on top to make the figure look solid. That way they could get everything properly proportioned and realistic looking. So what I'm going to work on today is natural form lines, or also known as natural contour lines. And I wanted to do with a simple item, so I brought up this picture of a pear, as I'm from Pixabay. Now this pear, you could draw using the geometric forms. At the top, it's more or less, I think it's a parallelogram or trapezoid. I don't remember exactly. It's been a long time since geometry. But you can do it. It's two parallel lines with two slanted lines in together. Then the bottom part you could use like an oval. But keep in mind with the pear, one side is a little flatter, as you can see on the right side here, than on the left side. Now, I decided to go ahead and draw this pear essentially the size of the photograph that I printed out from Pixabay. I noticed by using my pencil that the top part of the pear is about 1/3 of the total height, and the bottom part is 2/3. So that's where you see me making the adjustment. Going forward, I think what I will do, instead of drawing that more or less what's called freehand, or the contour edge, is I will use constructive drawing, then start using the organic form or contour line for the internal. What is the high point? What's the low point? And then go from there for this shading guidance. But right now you saw where I marked the source of the light, and I'm coming down with the first contour line, showing the undulation of where it dips in, which is that shadow right there, and then comes out and then curves back down for the lower body of the pear. And I'm going to continue doing that. Using these lines, what's great about it is it can help you on where to shade and get your placement of your shading correctly, because that way you have the surface map of what's the high point, what's the low point, along with I marked the light source. And that's what I'm doing here now. I'm doing the cross contour line, showing the roundness because it's not flat. I want to make this looking 3D. That's the reason why I'm going to be doing the shading. Now the pencil I'm using is the 600 News from Musgrave. Now I'm not sponsored by them, although that would be nice. But I just love their pencils. They are an American pencil company. I believe their American pencil companies now is down to 2. It's them and General Pencil. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they do make a wonderful pencil. So right now I decided I need to change some things to lighten that up at the top. I got a little bit too much on there, and I went and got my favorite eraser, the Vanish eraser. And I am now putting in the stem. And now I'm going to be starting to shade. And then I lighten the top up again just by tapping it. Now the Vanish eraser is by Acurit. I believe I said that correctly. They advertise it as a 4-in-1 eraser. We're supposed to also take the place of a kneaded eraser. I'm not sure that is totally correct, but I do love it. And it is specially formulated to pick up color pencil, as I said in the past, as well as I found it actually picked up color pencil that are the watercolor variety once it was activated, actually. Of course, that depends a lot on the paper, as long as you're using watercolor paper, which I've not had really that much success with any other pencil doing that. Now what I'm doing here is I'm defining the bottom area with a shadow. I got the shadow a little bit too wide, and I am now narrowing that up to match up more to the reference. Now keep in mind, shadows, natural shadows, are not totally black throughout the whole shadow. There is a gradation, and look at that when you're out and looking at shadows. You'll see that as well. And it also helps define and anchor the bottom of this pear. Now that I got the bottom done, you'll see that I'm kind of laying out where the lighter reflected light on the pear is. Now it's not going to be totally white like the highlight to the right, which I haven't gotten to yet. But it will be lighter than the surrounding area. It'll still be a shaded gray tone, but it will be lighter than the surrounding area. So it also helps define the bottom of that pear. Now you see where I'm now going in and starting to lay in the darker shading to the left, following the contour that I've laid out, which is like a little map. And I'm working flat here, so the pear is just a little bit more lopsided than the picture, but I'll get that corrected later on. The biggest thing is I'm shading. I'm trying to do this quickly. A lot of people think, oh, you can instantly draw and get everything down. Well, that's not the case. If you want to get a well-finished rendered pencil, now I'm not talking about hyper-realism, but just a good rendering and impression of like this piece of fruit, and it's more refined and finished and with good shading and everything. You wouldn't be using an up and down pencil stroke like what I'm using. Instead, you would use a little circular motion, which I showed briefly there, and get that real smooth. I'm not doing that. I'm doing more of a rougher appearance by trying to lay down the shadows quickly by using an up and down motion. Also, more than likely, I would be using multiple grades of pencils, at least 3 or 4 of them. Here, I'm just using a lighter touch with the 600 News because if I use the lighter pencils like I usually would, you wouldn't be able to see it on camera. So that's the reason I'm sticking with the 600 News, which essentially I use the 600 News like if I had an ebony pencil, but I like it better. And it seems to be a little bit less shine than an ebony, but that's my personal opinion. But it is soft and it lays down the graphite very nicely. So I really do love that pencil a lot, and I have stocked up on it a bit. Although I may need to stock up some more as much as I've been using it. I bought it online. They now have them on Amazon. And I believe the company website now you can purchase from them. At one time that wasn't the case. You could only buy in gross. But so that's a nice addition that they now have where you can buy in smaller quantities to try out their pencil. Now I just turned the paper so I can better see and shade this drawing. And I'm doing light taps to get it blended in so I can go back in because I got a little bit dark. And you'll see me adjust it here and there. And I'm just going to let you watch the rest of it without any further comments. And let me know if you're drawing along with me or if you have suggestions. I will respond to all comments. If you find this video helpful, enjoyable, entertaining, any of that, or please click on that thumbs up icon that says you like it. As well, consider subscribing. It really helped me out a lot with YouTube, and I would really appreciate it. So, I'm just going back and forth, adjusting where the highlight is, which is the brightest white color, and where the shading and the gradations are. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the video. I do think I did a decent job here going so quickly. And granted, keep in mind, I did speed up this part of the video to 2 times the normal speed. Otherwise, it would be around 25 minutes. But for me to do a good finished pencil drawing, even though it won't be hyper realistic, but it will be a stylized realism rendering, it will take me over 25 minutes, possibly over an hour. And I may do that with a different type of pear, just for practice. And I will film that for you so you can see that as well. I'm almost finished here. So, I'm going to say goodbye. Please enjoy the rest of the video. I appreciate you watching to this point. And take care. You have a good day.